On today's show, the Locked On Top 100 had 3 Mavericks in the top 100. I had 4 Mavericks, and I thought I was being a little biased. And then Slightly Biased came, and he's got 6 Mavericks in his top 100. We'll explain on today's Locked On Mavs. Stop it! Let's go! Stop! The number 1 pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all 5.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave you.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Joining me, as always, the post-game prodigy from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
I'm pretty pumped about this. I love making top 100 lists, even though they are kind of a waste of time, a pointless exercise.
Disagree.
But it is fun, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Fun is never a waste of time.
That's
Slightly.
true.
Fun is never a waste.
Usually my process is insane, and then by the time I'm done with it, I'm like, why did I just spend
The last 20 are like, okay, I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, fine. Michael Porter Jr., whatever.
Yep. So what I ended up doing was just I would go and look at every roster, just type in people like this guy could be around the top 100, and then I would just copy and paste, move them around. I was like that looks good.
We will talk about Slightly's top 100 that he did as well. I've been talking about mine all week, and we talked about the Locked On one all week. I'll put a link in that in the description of the show. But today we're going to talk about where he has his rankings, because he has 6 Mavericks. Who deserves to be on this list? Who's a little too high? Who's a little too low? We'll get into all that. Let's start here. Slightly. So this was the rankings that I had and that Locked On had for their top 100 and our top 100. They had Anthony Davis at 14. They had Kyrie Irving at 40. A lot of people put him really low because of injuries this season. Cooper Flagg was at 80. I think he got bumped a little bit down because a lot of hosts told me that they weren't going to rank rookies at all. And so I think he got a little bit downgraded in this for that. I ended up with Anthony Davis at 10, Kyrie Irving at 20, Cooper Flagg at 60, and I put Dereck Lively in at 100. I'm like, Dereck Lively deserves to be in this list, and decided to put him there. Your list, you ended up with 6 Mavericks. Walk me through your process on how they deserve 6.
So it's funny because I try not to be biased whenever I'm making these lists, but I do think there's an inherent bias built in because I watch these guys more than any other player. So then when I'm looking at, especially once you get past like 60, it is like, just put these guys wherever you want. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Like, if you're like, I have Keon Ellis 100. How do you not have Keon Ellis in your top 100? It's like, all right, dude, like whatever. If you want Keon Ellis in your top 100, go for it. But I would just look at these guys. And again, I think that's just inherently built in and baked in as like, I watch this guy play every game versus, I might watch this other guy, but not as much, where it's like, would I rather have PJ Washington or Jalen Duren? I'm like, well, I wouldn't trade PJ Washington for Jalen Duren. Would I rather have PJ Washington or, Dylan Brooks? It's like, well, I'd rather have PJ Washington right now. Like, that's kind of where you start to, get into those things. So 6 feels like a lot. I'd say my top 100 list, anytime I do them on my channel, I always say these are like predictive. I try to predict where these guys might rank at the end of the season. Yep. There's just no way the Mavs will have 6 guys. Like, almost certainly not, right? Because that's a lot to ask for. But, they've got a good roster. That's not something that we've debated. I don't think can be debated. They have a deep roster. They're one of the deepest teams in the league. I think there's arguments that you can make that just in terms of the quality of players at the end of their rotation, like to 13th, 14th, 15th, man, it could be one of the deepest, if not the deepest roster in the league. The questions all come at the top, really, and just in terms of fit and structure of the team. But they've got a lot of good players, and it is what it is. I've got 6 guys.
So to be clear, your 6 guys are, you have Anthony Davis at 8, Kyrie Irving at 33, Cooper Flagg at 66, Dereck Lively at 74. We'll talk about that one. PJ Washington at 99 or 95, Daniel Gafford at 99. So you ended up adding Lively, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford to what the Locked On Top 100 actually had.
Yeah. And I think for me, PJ is a great dirty work, forward/wing who has great size. I've seen him damn near swing an entire playoff series for the team. and has picked up several different defensive assignments. One thing that is just really underrated with him is his rebounding is so crucial for this team. And the stretches that he was out last season, you really felt it. So I think, to me, I don't know if there's 100 guys in the league I'd rather have over PJ Washington. And that's sort of where I make that call. And then, Lively, to me, Lively's easily a top 100 player in the league. I don't even think that's up for debate, really, in my opinion, just in terms of impact. And then Gafford, I was looking at it, and I do think Gafford's like a 15th or so best center in the league, like around there. I think a lot of teams he'd be starting. I think on contending teams and teams that want to contend, he could be a starter for certain rosters. So Lakers, yeah. Think about, well, I was going to say Pacers, but they're kind of in this weird spot. But
but he would, though.
Yeah, there's several different teams I think he'd start on that want to be very good teams. So, yeah, I think he's probably one of the more underrated players in the league, which is funny because I think even at times I think I underrate him a little tiny bit just because I am such a Dereck Lively fan. But, yeah,
well,
same thing.
And then bringing in AD is just like adds a whole other wrinkle to those centers conversations, too.
Right, yeah. And it's going to be like a production thing where if Gafford produces enough this year to be considered a top 100 player, one of the other guys is hurt. Like that's just it. Like it's if all three guys are healthy, I'd assume Gafford probably does not get the opportunity to like really produce from a production standpoint.
It's interesting you had the Mavs with 6 because I went through the other day and counted like how many players each team has in each spot, and the only team with 6 was the Thunder. They had SGA at 2, Jalen Williams at 20, Chet at 30, Alex Caruso at 68, Isaiah Hartenstein at 70, Lou Dort at 74, and Kaysen Wallace didn't make the list, and that was a big gripe from Rylan and a couple other hosts, including Isaac. But they were the only one with 6.
I had Kaysen Wallace right on the precipice of making it.
Actually,
I do have Kaysen Wallace in it, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, it's what I said earlier. It's like, I think this is one of the deepest rosters in the entire association. My questions with the team come at the top and come with health and come with just how do they function as a basketball team with the players that they have. I don't question their depth and their talent. So I don't think it's that crazy.
No, and they're solid players for sure. PJ and Gafford for sure. We talked about yesterday. I had Noah Weber on. We talked about one of the most overlooked things on this Mavericks team is their depth, and that they'll have these guys that are already really good, and that PJ and Gafford specifically represent. Like they would start both of them for so many teams. Like I was looking through as you were talking, and like they would start for the Warriors. Maybe not both of them, but probably probably both of them. They would start for. You could definitely the Celtics this year for sure. The Pacers they would start this year. You start going through them. Probably the Magic. There's so many different teams that these guys would both start for, and that is invaluable to have those level players coming off the bench most likely for your team. You had Anthony Davis at 8.
Mm-hmm.
This is the top 10 for that Locked On had. Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luka, Curry, Anthony Edwards, Wembanyama, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and then we end up having Jason Tatum because we added injured players. Who do you not have from this list that makes Anthony Davis 8?
Are we going to do this now? Because one of these I have a huge gripe with that I thought would be a bigger talking point.
Coming up, let's talk about how Slightly Biased hates the top 10 for the Locked On and has a huge gripe with one of them.
Are we actually going to add?
Get into that coming up. Today's episode of the Locked On Mavs podcast is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. If you're somebody that likes going golfing, I am not one of those people, but there are a lot of people that do. And you get to a certain point, maybe it's hole 7, maybe it's hole 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. There's 18 of them. There's a lot of holes to walk. And you're like, I just need a little boost. I need a little something extra. 5 Hour Energy can help you. Their 5 Hour Energy Transfusion, the grape, ginger, lime flavored shot, brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. So go check it out. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now, you can amp up for even more fun. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for any 2 people to any golf tournament. Step 1. tell you that one. In the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com. So the word 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Go check out 5 Hour Energy.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every single day. We appreciate you for checking out the show. Got Slightly Biased on. We're going to talk all through the season. Another season of post-game shows, you and me, buddy.
Let's do it.
You ready for this one? 2 years ago, we watched the Mavs go all the way to the finals every game. Last year, we watched the whole franchise fall apart. And this year, what are we going to see?
Who knows? Maybe a happy medium.
Maybe normalcy? Maybe some boring and just some good basketball?
Yeah. Just like a solid team, a decent playoff run.
I would love that.
I know.
I would love that. Even though we revel in the chaos.
True.
We're talking about the top 100. You had 6 Mavs in your top 100, including Anthony Davis at 8. I had Anthony Davis at 10, and I got accused of being a homer and having him too high. You had him at 8. Yeah. So you
10th?
Yeah. You start going through it. Okay, so we showed this list, and you have a big gripe with at least one of the players in the top 10.
So again, I said this at the top. Mine's a predictive list. I don't have Tatum on there because he's not going to play it all season. So otherwise, I'd have Tatum 5th. Just full disclosure.
Yeah. I think I had him 6th.
So am I just supposed to pretend like I did not witness a 37-year-old Steph Curry have a god awful 2 whole entire months of basketball last year and then get hurt in the playoffs? Like, am I just supposed to pretend? I don't. For Steph at 5, I don't understand at all. Like, I'm not even arguing AD should be ahead of him. I'm just thinking like, I have Steph at 12. And that's factoring in Tatum not being there. And that's even factoring in Halliburton, maybe even like if I'm realistically thinking about it.
I had him at 8. But I have Durant and AD right behind him. And I struggled with Curry, Durant, AD, LeBron. Like that whole that group right there is what I struggled with. But I was surprised Steph at 5. That was the first thing we talked about on Locked On NBA too. I did not get that. Because that means some people had him at like 4.
That's what I was just about to say.
Or even 3. Like
I don't know how you could watch around the league and come away with that last year. I don't at all. And then factoring in he's 37 years old. So it's just, he's going to continue to. I mean, he's still a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. I have him 12. Like that's still an all NBA level player. That's still a great, fantastic player in the league. But I mean, I personally think AD is, I'd rather have AD right now. I don't think that's that crazy to say.
What did you think about the Brunson at 8?
So I have Brunson at 7. I don't have a problem with that.
Wow. Okay. See, I had Brunson at 12, so I'm a little bit too low.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say, I know that I just did the Steph thing, but in this little jumble right here, I can't go as 5 with Steph. To me, it's just insane. So I can't go there. But like 7 onwards, maybe I'm like, yeah, I like my 7th guy to like my 13th guy. I'm like, okay, if you want to mix match those guys,
right.
I don't really have much of a gripe.
Okay,
but,
so who did you have AD over then? If he's at 8, let's just go through your top 10.
My top 10 is, guys. Can we save this for the next one? Because the top 4, I think, has talking points.
Okay.
All right, I have KD 9, so I have AD 1 spot ahead of KD.
Okay, fair.
I have Donovan Mitchell 10.
Okay.
I ended up putting, because he's going to play this year, I'm assuming. I had Embiid 11. Really didn't know what to do with him.
Ooh, yeah, I had him like in the 20s, and he ended up in like the 50s for us.
I know he ended up that low, which I'm assuming 52. Means you had some people that just did not rate him.
And just put him low because of injuries. Like I'm only getting 30, 40 games of him.
Right.
What do I value him as? Would I rather have Rudy Gobert for 82 games, or would I rather have Embiid for 30 games? Right. Like,
so yeah,
don't ask Draymond Green that question.
I thought about that. And then I had to say to myself, well, if I'm doing that with Embiid, I pretty much have to do it with AD. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So I just figured. We barely saw Embiid last year. I did think he looked good, but I think he was playing through injury and stuff and coming back from injury. But I feel like this is fine because I did see, I forgot where I saw it. I did see the aggregation of the lockdown top 100, and Embiid's position was a big gripe. And I saw comments like, well, if you have Embiid, he has to be 5 or not on the list at all. And I disagree with that. I think you could look at Embiid's performance last year and think he's getting older and dealing with injuries, and he just might not be at that dominant level anymore. And then I had AD above Steph Curry, and then I had LeBron 13. So
well, even the times we saw Embiid last year, I didn't think we saw a top 5 player.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is it's like I don't think it's crazy to think, well, even if he does play, I don't know if he's at that level anymore. He was on the wrong side of 30.
You had Cooper Flagg at 66. I had him at 60, so we're about on the same page there. Once you started to get to like in the 60s, what did you think when you started to see the players? Because when I look at the locked on list, so like he ends up at 80, but let's go to like 60. It's Dyson Daniels, Denny Avdia, Brandon Ingram, Fred VanVleet, Jaden McDaniels, Zach LaVine, Jalen Suggs, Caruso, DeRozan. Like that's what the locked on had in the 60s. What did you think about when you were rating Cooper Flagg?
Well, I thought I kind of thought I'd have him a little bit higher, only because I think he projects to be such a complete player. But then once you get to the 50s and early 60s, it's like these guys are all really good. And these guys are all 30, 40, $50 million players. These guys are all, these guys all have like starting the season. There's a few of them at least, because some of them I have are like role guys. But some of these guys are like, this guy can make the All-Star game this year if certain things break right. Yeah. So I kind of drew the line where it was like really, I almost say gimmicky players, but kind of one-dimensional Dyson Daniels type players. Where I'm
Cam
like
Johnson.
Right, yeah, where I'm like, would I have who do I think have a better season? Cooper Flagg, who could come in and be this like kind of complete package immediately, or like a Dyson Daniels? Well, Josh Giddey or Cooper Flagg? Well, I'd rather have Cooper Flagg, I think. So that's kind of where I was at. Once we get to that list where we're past like maybe the uber elite role guys and like fringe all-star guys, and then you get into like the really, really good role guys, that's kind of where I throw Flagg into the mix.
Yeah, there was a couple locked on hosts that just didn't rank him at all. And so that's why I think he ended up at 80 for us on this whole list. But
I think that's fair.
I had him at 60. I think if you're gonna put the player on, you just got to rank him though. You got to include him. It's predictive. That's part of the whole point. You're predicting these rookies. And from everything we've heard, like you said, he's gonna be a more complete player than some of these players. And I take the two-way impact because slightly we're in our two-way impact era of Dallas Mavericks basketball. This is a brand new Mavs basketball that we're about to deal with.
We like to think, at least.
Now I value two-way players more than I value other types of players, apparently.
Well, I'll just say this. If Flagg's not a top 100 player immediately, I will be a little concerned.
About yourself or about the Mavericks? Or
about Flagg and the Mavericks moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he's not, then...
I mean, if you just look at the guys around 100, it's like Flagg's got to be better than this dude.
Yeah, this is 90 to 100 for the locked on list. Christian Brown, Jalen Green, Jakob Poeltl, Nikola Jokic, RJ Barrett, Peyton Pritchard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, CJ McCollum, Anthony Simons, Tumani Kamara.
If Flagg's not better than Anthony Simons year one, then I cannot believe you guys have Anthony Simons in the top 100. My jaw dropped when I saw that.
I don't think I had him.
I was like, what?
He averaged like 20 points a game.
I don't care. I've seen it because that game he had against the Mavericks last year where he had, 20 something points in the third quarter and he couldn't miss. What happened in that game? Do you remember exactly what happened?
Didn't he not score at the fourth quarter at all?
He fouled out 1 minute into the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Mavericks were hunting him relentlessly on defense.
You think that's not going to get exposed for the Celtics? Like, you think...
Is he going to be on that team?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like it.
Have they even been like, hey, guys, Anthony Simons here? Or they're going to like randomly be like, a week before the season starts, yeah, guys, Anthony Simons here. We couldn't find a trade partner, so he's on the team now. No, that was one thing with my rankings I noticed was I'm following the NBA's, what the NBA's telling us. I'm out on these small guards that don't play defense.
Except
Brunson. I'm done with them.
Except Brunson is in your top 10.
Well, Brunson's a different category.
Where do you have Trae Young?
Trae Young's also a different category. I have Trae Young 23. But let me rephrase that. If you can't be an uber elite offensive engine, I don't care about whatever scoring thing you do.
I'm looking up. I don't think we got an Anthony Simons Celtics introductory press conference.
That's what I'm saying. That whole thing's been weird. I mean, I don't follow the Celtics on social media, but I don't know if I've seen like...
should text Corrales and see.
I don't know if I've seen like a Anthony Simons hype thing.
We talked about a study today in our staff meeting about the one reason that people stop listening to podcasts is because the conversation becomes too meaningless and like not on topic. And I think we just lost a bunch of people. Talked about Amber Simons for like 4 minutes.
No, people expect that when they come here. Let's just be honest.
Coming up, let's talk about Dereck Lively, because you had Dereck Lively in the top 75.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I stand on that.
Let's talk about that and more coming up.
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
All right, we're here with Slightly Biased. We're talking about the top 100. He made his own list. I talked about mine last couple of episodes. Locked On has their own. I'll put a link in the description. You can go check out that. There's also Locked On Sports Today. Did a special on it where a bunch of us sent shorts and different videos on it. I sent one on Cooper Flagg because he absolutely should be ranked in this. And if he's not a top 100 player, Slightly is gonna, I don't know. What would you do if he's not a top 100? He's just gonna be sad.
Let's see. Find my local overpass. You do the rest in your head.
Just check out 75. Just make sure you watch 75 for any.
Be careful.
Any bridges. Then they put that new bridge over 75 last year or so.
Oh, they probably put 12.
The walking one that you can walk across.
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. I love highways.
What about the train that they're putting in?
Oh, I'd love that.
Slightly loves.
I'd be honest. I'd just ride it for fun.
Slightly loves the train. Dereck Lively, you had at 74.
Mm-hmm.
I had him at 100, and I think I may have been the only one to put him in the list, but he was in like the receiving votes category for us, like an honorable mention. He was not super high on that list, but I think he deserves to be in it for sure.
Yeah.
That kind of impact. I think there is some pushback from some people that without Luka, he's just not going to be the same player. How do you have him in the top 75 and you don't care about that?
Yeah, no, I don't care about that really. And I'll push back against that too, because I think we saw Gafford's best games without Luka. When Luka was hurt before the trade. And I think Lively played fine. Like there's this like narrative that Lively was dreadful after, and I disagree. I mean, he was hurt, like coming back from an injury.
Well, like last 25 games, he only played 4. So.
Yeah, like, and he was coming back from an injury that I'm assuming, since he needed to get bone spurs or whatever cleaned up, was still dealing with lingering effects from the injury.
Yeah,
so,
and how about an injury that was misdiagnosed?
Yes. So
or almost missed, like.
Right. So I'm willing to toss out those 4 games that people are drawing conclusions from. To me, Lively, and what I would say if I were arguing against my own point, I'd say 25-minute-a-game guy, been hurt. Like, how could you rate a guy who's not even playing 30 minutes a game that highly? I think Lively is a legitimate defensive anchor. I don't think there's that many of them in the league. I don't think there's, interestingly enough, I think the Mavs probably have 2 with AD and Lively, but I think probably 10 or so guys, if that I could say that guy can anchor a defense and be like legit at it and be elite at it. And I think Lively is one of those guys. He's young. He's getting better. I thought he improved last year. And I know stats wise, maybe he didn't. I think people expected the jump shot to come. It didn't get there. But I just thought his process was better. I thought his touch was much better around the rim. His free throw shooting improved. And I just thought he looked more comfortable as an NBA player. And I mean, the Mavericks defense was 10 points better when he was on the floor versus off it. That's one of the biggest swings in the entire league. So I think he's a defensive anchor. You can't teach the athleticism and just the feel defensively that he has as a 7-1 guy. You just can't teach that. And so I'm really high on him. If you've listened to the show, you know that. I'm so high on Dereck Lively. He just has to stay on the floor. That is it for me. He has to stay. If we're getting another 30, 40, 50 game season from Lively this year, I'm officially very concerned and I don't know what to do moving forward with him. But as long as he's healthy, I think he'll be one of the best defensive players in the league.
And with him, he played in the finals.
Yeah.
And was like big in the finals. It was guarding the Celtics perimeter players that nobody else could stay in front of and guard. Like, you've seen proof of concept. Like, some of the other centers on this list, would Vooch play in a finals right now? Like, I think Vooch is getting played off the floor in some way.
I don't have Vucevic in my top 100.
Yeah, like,
because it goes back to centers. The same thing with these small guards. Is it's like, okay, are you an elite offensive hub? If the answer to that question is no, then like, what am I doing with you?
Are you Jokic, Şengün, or Sabonis?
Yes.
Or maybe Embiid, if you want to still count him.
Right. Well, at least Embiid.
Or are you elite defensively?
Right. Are you elite defensively? And if you're good defensively, can I at least rely on something from you offensively? And if the answer to that question is yes, welcome to high up in my top 100.
Do you have Jared Allen?
I do have Jared Allen. I like Jared Allen a lot. I have him 51.
Yeah, I think. But Dereck Lively up there, yeah, I had 54 for Jared Allen.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I did have Jared Allen above Dereck Lively.
Dereck Lively at 74. That's fun. Who are some players right below that you think people would be surprised by?
Below? Well, I have Zach LaVine and DeRozan behind him, and it's a similar thing kind of where I've seen these two now for years. I've seen all I've needed to see. I do have Miles Turner below him, which I think could surprise some people. I know they made the finals last year. I perked up a little bit at some Miles Turner stuff. I didn't think he looked as good last year as he has in years past, and he's getting older.
The defense wasn't elite last year.
Right. He wasn't elite last year defensively for sure. I don't think he's been like uber great defensively for a few years, honestly. But I think his floor spacing kind of unlocked a lot of things for that team. But I mean, he's about to turn 30 years old. So I am a little bit wait and see with I think, playing next to Giannis though will be really good for him. What other centers do I have below him? Pirtle I have below him. Naz Reid I have below him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't think I have Paul George below him. I was actually, so I thought when I ranked Paul George, I did my rankings without looking at the locked on list.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's see. I had Paul George at 80. You guys had him at 76.
Yep. He ended up at 76 and I was surprised, but I mean, that's where he is, man. Like that at this point in his career with the amount of injuries and
the fact that he looked not good at all last year. And if you want to write that off as injuries, fine. But then I'm like, he's 35 years old. So it's like, am I expecting him to just return to form? No, not really.
Would you have considered Clay or somebody else?
I thought initially, I was like, man, Clay and Najee have a chance to make this list. But then you just do it. And there's just so many good players in the league, And
100 is like, isn't there 450 players in the NBA? So you're excluding like 3/4 of the NBA or more.
And if you're basically saying if we were to like do a redraft, an entire league redraft, you could be a top 3 player on a team. That's kind of how I looked at it in a way. Point. And I was just like, I don't know if I can get there with those guys.
Because some teams got 6, like the Thunder. A couple teams got 5. I talked about those the other day. And then like the Wizards got like CJ McCollum.
I mean, I have a Wizard on there, and it's not CJ McCollum.
I was saying, even that one, I was like, I didn't have him. I didn't have a Wizard.
There's no way I'm putting CJ McCollum in the top 100 list right now. I had Sar. I put Sar in my top 100.
You did?
Well, mine's predictive, and I'm just kind of like, second year, there's going to be somebody. And I think Sar can be a game record defensively. Honestly, I do. And he had enough flashes offensively last year. I was like, all right, someone on the Wizards will look good this year.
That's Slightly's top 100 list. Interesting stuff. Good stuff all the time. Great stuff from him. Go check out his YouTube channel. And we'll be back tomorrow. Slightly and I are going to break down our biggest differences and our biggest gripes outside of Steph Curry that we've already got into. So come back tomorrow with this show, wherever you're listening, watching this. Check the links in the description. Follow, subscribe on YouTube. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out. Boom.
Don't let me down, D-Live.